Netflix's Bridgerton has made several changes from Julia Quinn's books, and while some have been controversial, others have significantly improved the story. The show's reordering of books in its adaptation has led to key differences, particularly in Bridgerton Season 3. However, many of these changes have enhanced character development, romance, and diversity. Some of the best changes include expanding Marina Thompson's character beyond a tragic plot device, establishing a stronger friendship between Colin and Penelope, and giving Francesca Bridgerton more depth, including a unique personality in a same-sex love story with Michaela Sterling. The show also better develops Francesca and John's marriage, making his eventual death more emotional. Additionally, Bridgerton improved Anthony's love declaration to Kate, removed toxic traits from the male protagonists, and introduced racially diverse casting that enriches the narrative. While Bridgerton has taken creative liberties, these changes make the show more inclusive, emotionally compelling, and modern while still maintaining the heart of Quinn's beloved novels. Of all the changes Bridgerton has made to the books, these 8 are the best ones. Netflix's Bridgerton has made many changes to the books, but a few stand out as the best. Bridgerton is an adaptation of Julia Quinn's best-selling Bridgerton books. Like any book-to-screen adaptation, Netflix implements several changes to make the show work. Bridgerton Season 3 had some significant book changes because the show swapped the order of the books. The number of changes depends on the season. Bridgerton Season 3 is not a particularly faithful adaptation of Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, but Bridgerton Season 4 is shaping up to be a highly accurate portrayal of An Offer from a Gentleman. Some of the changes Bridgerton makes to the books are not for the better. The show's interpretation of the Sharma family, including their reconciliation, is a disservice to Kate and Edwina's relationship. Sometimes, Bridgerton is so focused on original characters that the show dismisses or even forgets about the Bridgerton siblings and their love interests. However, for every terrible and frustrating book change in Bridgerton, there are far more changes that actually improve the show, whether it affects the primary romance, character development, or narrative circumstances. 8. Bridgerton expands Marina Thompson's character. Marina Thompson is more fleshed out. Bridgerton introduces Marina Thompson in Season 1, Episode 1, Diamond of the First Water, as a distant cousin of the Featherington family. This narrative decision is particularly surprising for readers because, in the books, Marina's only role exists as Philip Crane's late wife, who struggles with depression and commits suicide. However, the narrative into Sir Philip, with love depends entirely on villainizing Marina. Philip and Eloise both blame Marina for Philip's broken family and the lack of parenting in Amanda and Oliver's lives. Even Amanda villainizes her mother into Sir Philip, with Love's second epilogue. To Sir Philip, with Love illustrates Eloise as Philip, Amanda, and Oliver's savior from the misery and breakage Marina caused, a terrible portrayal of mental illness and highly misogynistic for a woman's role to save a man and his family from devastation. However, Bridgerton Season 1 establishes Marina as an independent character willing to do whatever it takes to protect her children. Bridgerton Season 2 portrays Marina as a caring and active mother despite the mental health issues she might struggle with. Marina is not a plot device to lay blame on a man's failings to care for her and their children. She is a fiercely loving and protective mother who struggles with her mental health. Although there is significant room for improvement in how Bridgerton treats Marina, she is not an obstacle for Colin and Penelope or Eloise and Philip. Her characterization is still a substantial step up from To Sir Philip, with Love. Marina is not a plot device to lay blame on a man's failings to care for her and their children. She is a fiercely loving and protective mother who struggles with her mental health. It is highly unlikely that Marina Thompson will appear in Bridgerton again. However, her characterization suggests that the narrative will not demonize her, whatever her fate may be. 7. Colin and Penelope's friendship is better established. Their friendship is better portrayed in the show. Although Romancing Mr. Bridgerton is better than Bridgerton Season 3 for the most part, the show does one thing better than the books regarding Colin and Penelope's relationship. Bridgerton firmly establishes a genuine friendship between them. While Colin and Penelope are friends in the books, they do not maintain their friendship while Colin travels, and Colin sees Penelope as Eloise's best friend more than his own. However, Bridgerton improved this aspect significantly when they established a close friendship between Colin and Penelope. Colin and Penelope spend a lot of time together in Bridgerton. He sees Penelope as one of his closest and most important friends. They value each other and prioritize their friendship over other things. Colin and Penelope truly enjoy each other's company and have built an authentic camaraderie, whereas, in romancing Mr. Bridgerton, Colin and Penelope's trope is more akin to best friends brother than friends to lovers, although both apply. 6. Francesca Bridgerton's character is more developed. Francesca has a much more unique personality than her book counterpart. All the Bridgerton siblings are unique and bring something different to the table in the books and the show. Eloise and Hyacinth march to the beat of their own drums. Colin has a funny and magnetic personality. Daphne and Gregory are hopeless romantics. Benedict is a charming artist. Anthony is the head of the family. However, Francesca Bridgerton's character in the books is not as strong as her siblings. Her biggest traits involve motherhood, independence, and the occasional wit. She is still a great character, but her siblings outshine her easily. Bridgerton has not even reached Francesca's story, and she is already a vast improvement from her book counterpart. Bridgerton takes Francesca's independence to a new level. Her introvertedness and desire for personal space differentiate her from her siblings. Francesca is awkward and has difficulty socializing, but when she meets the right person, she is unafraid to express herself and her passion for music. Furthermore, Francesca being gay in Bridgerton adds a layer of depth to her inner conflict and fertility struggles. If this is Francesca's character before her story, she will inevitably become the best Bridgerton character. 5. Bridgerton's inclusion of Francesca and John's marriage. The Bridgerton books gloss over Francesca and John's relationship. When He Was Wicked is a heart-wrenching book, and one of the reasons is that Francesca loses her husband unexpectedly after only 2 years of marriage. Although John only appears briefly before his death, When He Was Wicked is like a love letter from Francesca and Michael to John. However, Bridgerton taking the time to explore Francesca and John's courtship and early days of marriage fills in some important and necessary blanks that When He Was Wicked leaves out. Furthermore, Bridgerton fleshing out Francesca and John's relationship will make his tragic death much more devastating. Now that John is a fully realized character, it will be difficult to let him go, especially after seeing his beautiful relationship with Francesca. Francesca and John's future will end in tragedy in Bridgerton, but it makes their dynamic much more meaningful. It will also help Francesca and Michaela's romance as they struggle between their desire for each other and their loyalty to John long after his death. 4. Anthony and Kate's declaration of love. Anthony's declaration of love rivals the other Bridgerton couples. Anthony and Kate do not have the most memorable love confession in The Viscount Who Loved Me. Upon realizing he loves her, Anthony hurries to the park to tell Kate, only to see her carriage turn over. Although Kate is stuck in the wreckage, Anthony declares his love for her. While it is an angsty moment, Anthony simply tells Kate he loves her without any grand words. However, their love confession in Bridgerton easily beats every declaration of love in the Bridgerton books. Anthony is so entrenched in this moment that he puts his hand over his heart to further illustrate his love for Kate. Anthony's love confession in the show is full of heart and desperation. After holding back his feelings for so long, Anthony unleashes them in the most poetic and heartfelt way possible. He is so entrenched in this moment that he puts his hand over his heart to further illustrate his love for Kate. I love you. I've loved you from the moment we raced each other in that park. I've loved you at every dance, on every walk, every time we've been together, and every time we've been apart. You do not have to accept it, you do not have to embrace it, or even allow it. Knowing you, you probably will not, but you must know it, in your heart. You must feel it because I do. I love you. Anthony Bridgerton to Kate Sharma in Bridgerton Season 2, Episode 8, The Viscount Who Loved Me. This scene also portrays Anthony's character development when he wants a life that is suitable for both of them, following with, I am imperfect, but I will humble myself before you because I cannot imagine my life without you, and that is why I wish to marry you. A declaration of love with this much emotion followed by a full-circle character development moment is the best kind of love confession. There is truly nothing superior out there. Bridgerton will have a hard time beating the scene in future seasons because of its perfection. 3. The men of Bridgerton are not terrible people. Bridgerton removed the men's toxic traits. One of the best book changes Bridgerton implements involves the men's toxicity. Almost every male protagonist in the Bridgerton books is highly problematic in some way. Anthony threatens to rape Kate on their wedding night, Benedict harasses Sophie because he cannot take no for an answer, Colin is physically violent with Penelope, Philip rapes Marina and is misogynistic toward Eloise, Michael threatens to rape Francesca. Simon is deceitful regarding intimacy in the marriage bed, but it is not deeply problematic. Gareth St. Clair seduces Hyacinth before they get married to ensure she cannot back out, never takes away her agency, and she could still end their betrothal. Only Gregory is not problematic, the closest terrible thing he does is handcuff his love interest to delay the consummation of her marriage to save her from a lifetime of abuse from her father-in-law. Simon and Gareth's actions are questionable but not unsalvageable. However, the other 5 Bridgerton male protagonists commit despicable acts that the show should never include. Thankfully, Bridgerton has done an excellent job of removing these problematic issues. Anthony never threatens to rape any woman. Colin would never hurt anyone, let alone the person he loves. Michael becoming Michaela eliminates that horrendous scene in When He Was Wicked. Benedict's season has not aired yet, but it is unlikely that he will harass Sophie. Not much is known about Philip, but given that his book counterpart would never have stepped up to provide for someone else's children, he will likely not be abusive or misogynistic in the show. Bridgerton has an excellent track record of eliminating the book's problematic aspects and will continue to do so until the end. 2. Bridgerton cast actors of color in main roles. Bridgerton enriched the narrative by telling diverse stories. Bridgerton opened up a realm of possibilities once the show cast actors of color in prominent roles, including protagonists. The show proved it was more than just another period drama when it began to tell diverse stories from all backgrounds. Kate Sheffield becoming Kathani Sharma greatly enriches her character and family dynamics. Sophie Beck will also likely have an added layer of complexity to her character now that she is Korean. Including black characters like Simon Bassett and Lady Danbury provides authentic representation in an alternate universe. There is nothing even historically accurate about the show, so Bridgerton made an excellent choice by providing the spotlight for characters of color and their stories. Although the show has several flaws in its portrayal of characters of color, especially in the production's treatment of the actors who play them, Bridgerton expanded its audience and narrative possibilities when incorporating characters of color. 1. Michaela Sterling becomes Michaela Sterling. Bridgerton made a bold move with Michaela Sterling that will pay off. Despite the controversy, the best change Bridgerton made to the books involves turning Michael into Michaela Sterling. Almost all the Bridgerton stories have a queer interpretation, but it especially works for Francesca's book story. Michael Sterling's character is not dependent on being a man. His primary conflict revolves around John. Michaela loves Francesca, but if he marries her, he will feel he is replacing John, having already taken the earldom when John died. Single women could inherit in Scotland if the family had no other men, via the real Mary King's Close, so Michael's conflict works well for Michaela. Bridgerton has diverse representation for people of color, so it is only natural that the show expands its diversity to include LGBTQIA+ representation. Michael Sterling is one of the few Bridgerton spouses who has not been introduced yet, making room for Michaela Sterling. Furthermore, Francesca already feels alienated from the ton because of how different her personality, dreams, and desires are, making her an excellent candidate to explore sexuality. Michaela and Francesca's story will easily be the best in Bridgerton while providing important representation for people with fertility issues and the LGBTQIA+ community.